don't know his name, and you'll never come face to face with this baby. These pictures may be the only way you'll meet the real victims of Hurricane Mitch. Many of these children are without parents, without homes, and most lack the basic necessities to survive. But Southwest Floridians have done their part to help them. The last week of October, Hurricane Mitch slams into Central America, changing the lives of Guatemalans forever. The powerful storm was just too much. The damage devastating and deadly. More than 10,000 killed and thousands more struggling to live day by day and in desperate need of help. Fort Myers may be a world away from Central America, but it's where all the generosity started. Jamie Townsend lives in Cape Coral, but is originally from Guatemala, which inspired him to set up a donation site at the Casa Cabana restaurant.
There is places where they haven't received any help because it's really hard to reach where they are. So that's our job, bring all this help to them.
For a week, a steady supply of goods were dropped off and diligently packed away by volunteers who not only donated supplies, but their time.
Anytime a country like that gets devastated by a natural disaster, it's everybody's problem. You know, everybody needs to pitch in and help. It's humanity.
The hundreds of boxes of donations from Southwest Florida made it straight to the relief and rescue operation called Conrad in Guatemala City. The help here has been nonstop since Hurricane Mitch. All of the supplies that arrive here, including the hundreds of boxes from Southwest Florida, are then repackaged by volunteers into these bags or boxes and then sent over to the worst hit areas here in Guatemala. Joshua Perez is with Conrad. They've been in operation 24 hours a day, every day since the disaster. ¿Qué importante ha sido esta ayuda que ustedes han recibido?
Digamos que hemos recibido. The help has been tremendous. We've received about 1 million pounds of goods daily since the hurricane, and with this international assistance, we will be able to reconstruct.
Repacking all of our supplies was the easy part. Getting them to those who need them most was a challenge. About 400 miles into Guatemala's countryside, Hurricane Mitch has made it almost impossible for dozens of families to get to the main village. During the storm, roads were destroyed, and what used to be a small river has now widened considerably and remains overflowed today. So the help has to go to them. At one point, there were homes lined up along this river, but Hurricane Mitch completely wiped them out. Now the only ones that are left, you can only reach by canoe. On the day we joined the Red Cross to deliver our goods, the weather wasn't cooperating. And because of the debris under the water line, it was questionable whether we'd make it to those families. Tomorrow night, we'll show you the rest of our trek and how Southwest Florida's supplies would mean the difference between life and death. Yusila Ramirez, Fox News. There are no roads to get our supplies to the stranded victims out in Guatemala's countryside. They live along this river, completely isolated from the main village of Tenedores. And today, they can only hope our boat makes it to them. It's been days since Luria Esperanza has seen any food or water, but that's not all that worries her. It's her son. He's had a high temperature for days now and needs medicine, any medicine, to make him well quickly.
No tener familia aquí. Yo he sufrido cosas muy duras.
I don't have anyone out here, no other family to turn to. I can't leave, even when my child is sick. I have suffered so much since the storm.
On this trip, the Red Cross workers will leave behind some Advil and whatever else is left in their first aid box. But Esperanza and her son aren't the only ones out here. There are many others depending on our supplies. Maria Clara also needs some goods. She lives in this shack and needs to put food on the table somehow. She's been waiting for days for rescue crews to bring supplies. Maria tells me every now and then help arrives, but she's just scared one day it'll stop. For now, though, she's just grateful that the people in the main village haven't forgotten about her. While it may seem unbelievable that these families decide to stay out here stranded, it's their only option. At least they have a place they can call home. Back on the mainland, we drove a couple of miles further into the country to continue dropping off our supplies, along with Jamie Townsend from Cape Coral, who not only collected the goods, but also made sure they got here to Guatemala. And to kids like this little boy who's now living in this shelter. It's a school converted into a refuge for the many who were literally plucked from their flood-ravaged homes. Here, they eat what they can, mostly tortillas cooked on these makeshift stoves, with whatever wood they can round up for that day. Meanwhile, kids are constantly getting sick from sleeping on dirty floors, and the threat of disease is rampant because they haven't had any running water for days now. The people here are the lucky ones. They were saved from Hurricane Mitch after fleeing to shelters like this one. But after 3 weeks living under these conditions, their main question right now is, where do they go now? At this point, no one really knows the fate of these children. Or the fate of Nora Veronica, who is about to give birth any day.
Siento que triste porque él va a venir al mundo.
I feel extremely sad because my child is about to come into this world, and I don't know what his future will be.
The supplies that were gathered in Southwest Florida alone will not solve this problem overnight. But Jamie Townsend and I saw for ourselves that for now, one community's act of kindness truly made a difference.
I'm so proud of all the people from Southwest Florida. Thank you very much, Southwest Florida, and God bless you.
Yusila Ramirez, Fox News.